who's finally back. This guy. It's been really weird to not be making videos, but I am finally, officially back. If you watched the last video I put out, of course you guys know that I took the week off effectively for all of the set championship tournaments. I suck. So it was my first time playing paper. I've played one, maybe 2 games with my wife when the game first came out, and then I've been on pixelborn ever since. So I went to my first tournament last Sunday where I brought an amber steel list songs, and the one deck that I was most scared to play against was Sapphire Ruby. And as it turned out, like half the players there were playing Sapphire Ruby. So my first game went well. I went 2-0, and so I was getting a little confident, thinking things were going well. And then I played against a Amethyst Ruby. It was a close game for the first game, and then I still ended up losing it. Second game, I got absolutely crushed. And then my third and fourth matches there were against the Sapphire Ruby, where I got absolutely clowned on. So didn't make any progress with that, didn't do well at all. But I had 2 more tournaments to attend, so hope was not lost. The next tournament was last Wednesday at 6 p.m. My closest game store where all these places are happening is a 3-hour drive. So with the top 8 being a part of it, it's anywhere between like 7 to 9 rounds, which is 7 to 9 hours long. It starts at 6 p.m. after a 3-hour drive to get there. So participating in that one would have meant I'd be getting home at like 6 a.m. and then I had to go to work at 9 a.m. So I ultimately decided to skip it. I had to be responsible. I have a wife, I have a kid, I have a kid on the way. I don't want to get in a car accident at 4 a.m. tired as a dog, trying to make it home, and then worrying about work as well. So I was an adult and I stayed home begrudgingly, but that gave me more time to work on my deck list. So I swapped strategies, and I just got back from the last set championship that I'm going to be able to attend, and I decided to run an Amethyst Emerald Hyper Aggro deck. If that many people were going to be running that kind of control, it felt like the right move. I was a little nervous that there'd be some Emerald Steel decks out there, and then of course there's my Bane, which would be the Amber Steel songs, but I wasn't expecting to see that deck. So I went there, my first game, it was a close one. My opponent won a game, I won a game, and then in the last game, there I was, sitting at 18 lores, 18 to 18, and I had enough characters in play where I could quest for about 12 lore, if I recall correctly, and my opponent basically had nothing, but they were set up in such a way where they had a character on a queen's castle. So their turn arrives, and they draw their card for turn, they draw their queen's castle card, and it happens to be a goat and a snake, and they have just enough ink to be able to play both. So they just snatched up the 2 lore out of nowhere in my first match. So I very narrowly lost the first game. All right, no big deal. You could still win 4 games and still make it to the top 8. So I go into my second game and playing against, what did I play against? It was a Blurple deck, Amethyst and Sapphire. It was interesting, to say the least. I picked up a win, got a loss, and then the third game was looking like I could pick it up. I was in a position where I was in a play a character, and if you don't kill my character, I win. That's the position I was in. So all I had to do was top deck anything and just commit it to the board, and the second my opponent ran out of the ability to stop me, I win. However, I then spent 3 turns drawing Madam M Fox, Madam M Snake, and then Madam M Fox, with no characters in play. So 3 dead draws off the top, and that was enough for my opponent to snatch up that one. So there it was. I was not going to make top 8 for my last championship event, but there are still prizes for people who can pick up 3 wins, and I was guaranteed at least 3 more games. So I went out and played against some really cool people, met a lot of people that recognized me, which is really cool. But long story short, I did pick up my 3 wins. The most interesting one was my third, or technically my 5th game, my last game, I ended up playing against the only Amber Steel song list there. So my gut reaction was, this is the deck I cannot beat. And I seriously contemplating just scooping it and giving the win to my opponent and letting them get the prizes for, that level of victory. But I figured, it's the last one. Let's play it. Let's just have some fun with it. And I did end up picking up a win, taking on a loss. And in the last game, when my opponent managed to get all of their aerials, find all of the removal, had an active Robin Hood, was singing songs left, right, and center, whole new worlding me. They had to play a whole new world. They were just in a weird position where they had to do it to let their Cinderella attack or something along those lines. And they ended up giving me the gas I needed, and I was able to sneak out a victory. So I got my 3 wins, and that qualified me to win 2 booster packs from the first chapter. Now, for those of you that should have probably skipped ahead or did skip ahead or maybe didn't want to skip ahead and did anyway, I opened up the first pack and mostly nothing. Nothing I didn't already have. But the second pack, I absolutely ripped an Enchanted Elsa. And I was so excited. I was thumbing through the pack as I was opening it. I saw the Elsa, put it on the top, put my hand straight up as the judge was trying to explain stuff for all the remaining players. I was just, and everyone, of course, thought it was super cool. This is going to, I don't know how yet, this will be, in some form or fashion, a raffle prize for Patreon members. You got to be at the $25 tier. That's where my Patreon raffle is. That's where it sits. This will, in some way, shape, or form, involve the Patreon members. I do not know exactly how yet, but Elsa here is not for me to keep. I am going to send this off, get it graded, and it will be a prize. I am thinking, just spitballing here, I am thinking something along the lines of picking, or raffling rather, not picking, raffling off seats in a tournament. That's kind of where my head is right now. That could change, but effectively Patreon members will be entered in for a raffle. It's either going to be 8 players or 16 players. I haven't made up my mind yet. I have been talking to somebody about setting up tournaments, pixelborn tournaments. So we will see about that. But I think I'm probably going to do it somewhere along the lines of every consecutive month that you are a Patreon member will equal a raffle to get into the tournament. So if you've been a Patreon member at tier 3 for 3 months, that's 3 entries. That's 3 chances to get a seat. I'm not going to pull the trigger on this immediately. I'm probably going to sit on them for 2 or 3 months. So that will buy you some time if you want to stockpile as many of your tickets, your raffle tickets, to get in for this. And then, of course, we'll pull the trigger and do a tournament. That's roughly what I'm thinking right now. It's not 100% certain. If you want, there is a link in the description down below for Patreon, so you can sign up for it today. I know it's a little pricey, but this is an Elsa. It's an Elsa that's going to be graded too. And looking at the centering, I'm 100% confident it will at least be a 9. There's a chance it's a 10. I don't know. I'm not a professional grader. I've never had a card graded before. I have seen videos of cards that were graded, other creators talking about what goes into that. And this Elsa seems to hold up. This is pack fresh, straight into a sleeve. Very excited to be able to share this with all of you guys, and hopefully somebody's going to pick it up, somebody's going to win it. Again, it's not mine to keep, it's going to go to one of you guys. And then that's basically it for all my update stuff. I just want to say thank you to everyone at the tournaments who recognized me and came up to say hi. Last Sunday, I had my very first recognition. Somebody walked up and like, hey, are you Winter's Lorcana? That was super cool. That was my very first ever recognition in the wild. And then very quickly it turned into like, oh, one guy recognizes me. That's super cool. To like, oh, 6 people here recognize me. And then today I went out and a huge portion of the players there recognized me. Several came up, had conversations with me, talked about their lives, what decks they're playing. They asked about the channel. And I also had my very first autograph, which was kind of weird. Not weird that they asked. Weird for me, like, oh, somebody wants my autograph. It was a little surreal. It was really cool. Thank you guys for the love in the community. I did hear some rumors of some cheaters out there. Don't be one of those guys. You will get caught. They did get caught. It's not worth it. You get banned pretty much, I think, for life. Pretty much all card games you get banned for life. I wouldn't be surprised if Lorcana is any different. They probably got banned for life, which is really sucky. Glad to have them out, but still a little sucky. But that's going to do it. No gameplay today. There will be gameplay starting tomorrow. We're going to be back on the daily grind. I just wanted to give you guys a little insight, a little catch up, and to let you know that the tournaments are done. I'm ready to start making videos again. So get ready for the new deck every day. Janky, competitive, your guys' decks. It's all coming. I'm very excited for it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.